Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their pics are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the lie.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
They're taking our kids every day. A child a minute, no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them, but when they come your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for their calling. They are giving us the CPS a warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, god damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up by lip tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come, picking you up one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. So give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on vacation. The one with bars in the windows, and the only games you play are old Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher Warrior Anthem. I'm crying out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. Our children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping.
All right. So what's up, Tiff? So I owe everybody a ginormous apology about my today is Friday. Yesterday I lived an entire day believing that yesterday was Friday, so hence we didn't have the show yesterday. I even said it on the CPS Victims Hunting Justice. I'm like, hey, have a good weekend, everybody. So today is definitely Friday, so I'm here to make this up for you guys. So I want to apologize to everybody about that. My bad. So what's going on, Tiff? We got a special guest here tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going to be on mute most of the night because I got a little company.
Hey, buddy. Oh, how's he doing? Oh, he's not the one that got beat down. It's not him.
No.
How's good?
Yeah, he's good. I'm just waiting to find out if the police are going to press charges on him because the forensic team came in and checked him, and they actually said that this was not only a malicious wounding crime, but it's also a sex crime. So we're about to find out what's going to happen.
Ooh, wow, that's crazy. But I mean, you do stuff like that to a child, and you deserve it. You know that. But,
and they were told because the little girl's grandma is going to walk up. Now my son is 6'3", okay, and she's going to stare my son up and down. And my son was like, "That's okay." Because they have a grandmother, but she's not a grandmother. She's not the typical grandmother. So
right.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep that posted in our prayers and all that. I'm sure everything will be fine. But as long as they just don't get GPS machine on it, that's the only scary part, you know. You don't know what they're gonna do with that game. But let's bring out TANAWAH. He knows about this. He's hip on all the CPS stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's traveling the country trying to put a stop to all this stuff, all the nonsense everywhere. So let's bring him out. Let's have him rap on some stuff. Mr. Downing, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm good. Don't need to call me Mister. I put on my pants just like everyone else. We're trying for equality here.
I don't know about this day and age. I think aren't you supposed to describe what you are or what you associate as? We got to be careful with that too.
Oh yeah, you mean he, him, his? Yeah, that's right.
Kitty, dog, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for having me come on, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, no, thank you for such short notice. It's great that you could fit us in. So what do you see? Oh, there he goes. I thought he was going to leave us already. I said, Jesus, Tiff didn't even talk yet, and he already left. He was already mad. So TANAWAH, why don't you tell everybody what you're fighting for, what your gig is, what you're doing? I know you're traveling the country, spreading the word and grabbing paperwork and fighting every fight you can fight. But why don't you narrow it down for everybody? Let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, I'm fighting for the family, guys. That's plain and simple. It's been hidden behind what's called the indictment issue. A lot of people were a little bit confused early on, thinking I was just fighting for prisoners. But now we're circling around, and now we're starting to talk about the real heart of the issue here, because every single prisoner is someone's child, right? That was stolen from them. Every single prisoner is someone's husband or wife that was taken from them. Every bit of this had to do with the right of intimate association. From beginning to end, this has all been about the right of intimate association. We have the right to have a family, and that family has the right to have an association without government determining, how we're going to associate with one another, or who we can love or who we can't love, or and so at the end of the day, this whole thing has been about family. It's been about family and the right of intimate association and the right of conscience. You know, we've never actually litigated a right of conscience issue here in America, and that's what this whole thing is about. You know, as I'm right now, I'm out and I'm actually talking with veteran groups. We're trying to get a number of veterans to self-execute their oaths, come back into active service again, so that they can support me across the country to collect criminal affidavits, which is written evidence from victims across the country, be able to receive that, maintain it in their custody in accordance with the rules of criminal procedure, rules of evidentiary procedure, so that we can deliver that to the powers to be. And so that's kind of where we're at. And I mean, this has been an amazing few months. I started back in May, and in May we went and we served 33 of the state attorney generals. So we served through either one of the assistant attorney generals or through one of the state patrol officers, depending on, you know, what we had access to. But regardless, notice to agent is notice to principal. All the state patrol are all agents of the attorney general. So what we needed to do was we needed to provide notice to, you know, all of the executive officers throughout the whole state. Every single prosecutor is part of the executive branch. They all work for the attorney general. So once we provide notice to the principal, then that principal then has a duty and obligation to, you know, to take action to address the criminal.
Oh no.
Awesome. I always get calls in the middle of these, but sorry. So, but when the principal fails to take action as lawfully required, then he himself becomes a party to the issue. And so as a result, you know, notice to agent is notice to principal, but notice to principal is notice to agent. We don't got to go around the country serving all these prosecutors when we can just go to their boss and say, hey, boss, what do you want to do about the crimes that your agents are committing? And if that boss fails to take action, as they did, then guess what? Every single agent is now notified. They're all part of a criminal conspiracy to undermine the laws of the United States. So that was the first tour that we did, 40 days that ended in New York, state of New York, when we served on behalf of Donald J. Trump for the deprivation of rights that occurred, where he was denied his right to be able to be present in the grand jury to confront the accusations against him as required. And so by that particular crime that was committed by the state of New York and the prosecutor, that would render void all of the action of the state from that moment forward. The judgment against Mr. Trump is not valid. And so I didn't do that for political reasons. I didn't do it because I wanted to see his judgment go away. I did it because he has an awful lot of power, and he has the ability to bring 30 million people behind this issue very, very quickly, because those 30 million people have a desire to see his judgment overturned and voided. And so, you know, if we can use his particular situation to be able to springboard into this using the election cycle and the power of the election cycle, then hey, why not do it? So we ended on June 6th serving on behalf of Donald Trump, state of New York, and then in July I started a second tour where we went and we served all the state Supreme Courts, the same 33 state Supreme Courts through the clerk of court. And so once again, we need to notify all the judges, all the judicial officers throughout the states. But what better way to do that than by notifying their boss? And so here's the scenario, and I'll explain how it plays into CPS in just one moment. But Clause 1 of Amendment 5 to the United States Constitution, I think we would all agree that that's part of the Constitution. It was established and ratified by the people on December 15th, 1791, in all intents and purposes as part of the Constitution. So Clause 1 of Amendment 5 says, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury. That's clear. You got to have an indictment by a grand jury before arresting someone, holding them over for a capital or an infamous crime. Unfortunately, there are 18 states or 13 states that do not conduct a grand jury at all. And then there's another 28 states that only do that only do it part of the time. They permit their prosecuting attorneys to charge by what's called information or indictment by their discretion. Now, both of these are unconstitutional because the Constitution has clarified and made the requirement that the obligation of government to have an indictment by a grand jury before arresting someone, holding them over for that particular offense. But here's the problem. State of Washington, Article 1, Section 26 of its inferior state constitution, what it says no grand jury shall be drawn or summoned in any county. So we have a state that enacted its own alternative legislation, substituted for the guarantees of the Constitution, and in doing so, that became an unconstitutional law. Therefore, all of the judgments or contracts that exist that relied upon that unconstitutional law to be created are also unconstitutional because they relied upon something that was unconstitutional for their creation. So we have an opportunity here to be able to nullify and void a massive number of judgments, but that's only just the tip of the iceberg. Because now what happens also, and this is where we go into CPS, is that yes, the indictment by a grand jury is enumerated within the Fifth Amendment, right? But what's not enumerated is the right to a family, right to the familial unit. And this was an argument that I made just a couple weeks ago on a different podcast, that, you know, protecting our family, that should have been the first act of our government, not the last. You know, they should have been protecting our family from the very beginning. And instead, they decided to protect their property as opposed to the family. Because nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the Bill of Rights does it say that you have a right to the protection of your family. However, it was found to exist by the Supreme Court in 1984 in a case called Roberts versus United States. So the Supreme Court has came out and they've said that you do have a right to have an intimate familial relationship with your family without governmental interference that's protected by the First Amendment, right, under the freedom of religion provision. And so, because it was found to exist within the First Amendment, now it becomes a protected right within the Constitution of the United States. Even though it's not enumerated, even though it's not written, it is protected by the Constitution because the Supreme Court said that it was. It exists. It's part of the First Amendment. Therefore, it cannot be abridged. So now we have the right to have a family unit, the right to have an intimate relationship with your child without governmental interference, and your child to have a relationship with you without governmental interference. That was found to exist. Supreme Court made the decision. It's there. Now the states all have to comply with it. So when a state creates a provision in its law, its statute, that permits a judge or a prosecutor to deprive or interfere or diminish your right to have an intimate relationship with your child, that would clearly be another unconstitutional law. So, you know, I'm using the indictment as the mechanism because it's enumerated. That's very important because anybody can open up the Constitution. They can see right there it says that you're supposed to have an indictment by a grand jury. They didn't have it, right? But that doesn't say that you have the right to have a relationship with your child. And so it becomes a little bit trickier when we get into that, because I can't open up the Constitution and say to all the public, hey, look, it's right there. But I can with the indictment. The indictment issue, that means that there's more than 700,000 people across America today that are being held illegally and unconstitutionally in these institutions that we call sweatshops in China, but prisons here in America. So we're using the indictment as a mechanism to get in and be heard, because 700,000 prisoners illegally and unconstitutionally imprisoned, you know, that's a pretty big issue, but it gives us an opportunity to be able to talk about how states do not have the right to be able to create their own laws, substitute them for the guarantees of the Constitution, and then direct their agents to obey an inferior state constitution, because that's a crime. It's called deprivation of rights under the code of law. And so, you know, we have to address these states that are choosing to overstep their authority, right, by abridging the guarantees and protections of the Constitution of the United States, and make sure that these states understand that if you're going to create a statute that's unconstitutional, that's in violation of the Constitution of the United States, then what you produce is nothing at all, nothing, without force or effect, because no law that's contrary to the Constitution can be valid. Therefore, any judgment or action that derives from that unconstitutional law can be valid or lawful either. So as long as the states are choosing to create laws that abridge the guarantees of the Constitution of the United States, whether it's your right to have a relationship with your child, or it's your right to indict by a grand jury, or your right to peaceably assemble and petition government for whatever that might be, as long as the states create a law that abridges that, nothing that state is going to produce is going to be lawful or constitutional. It is all going to be unconstitutional. And so I want to come in and I want to destroy all those laws. And so I'm sure you're going to ask the question, but I'll explain in a moment how we're going to do that.
Okay, so 2 good things happened this summer. As you know, I sent you the Chevron doctor.
Did I lose you guys?
Back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Tiff.
Okay. So we talked about the Chevron, and also the SEC. The SEC.
All right, on TikTok, everybody. Maybe you guys got all that. I don't know what happened here on the stream, but apparently they can't. You guys can't hear me on TikTok?
Yeah, we can. Oh yeah, you're linked up with there. Do you have
All right, guys. So it looks like the stream just went dead on the podcast. That kind of sucks. We'll probably get it rescheduled. I don't know at what point they lost it, but you guys heard it. So,
Can you hear
We're
us?
here.
hey,
Yeah, we're here. We're running fine.
Dakota, are you there, brother?
You know, let me do this,
Dakota,
channel. Let me
you there?
send you a. I'm going to send you a separate link that you can do, and you can actually add your channel.
Since we lost the stream on the podcast, are there any questions that people have? Anything that I could answer, brother?
Where are you saying that
I
we were
got a
lost?
couple people saying that they couldn't hear you. Let me just go through.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So, can I sue them? So let me answer that question real quick, because this is a catch-22 that everybody finds themselves in, that really, it sucks. All right, because again, so the doctrine of master servant says that a servant performs mechanical duties on behalf of his master, and in the course of his duties, he will always side on what is in the best interest of his master. So, for instance, a state judge is going to side with the state because that's his master. He's going to do what's in the best interest of his master. Same thing with a prosecutor, same thing with an attorney, same thing with law enforcement. They're all going to side with their master. So, but the thing is that if the state of Washington created a law that said you do not have to have an indictment by a grand jury, then what happens there? Then what happens there is that the state is now directing their agents, right? Directing their agents to obey that state law. So it's actually the state that's responsible for the actions of their agent, right? The agent's just doing what they're told to do, right? The state created a law, and now the agent's just obeying that law. So the agent is simply performing mechanical duties on behalf of his master, right? Which means that you don't sue the agent. That's why agents have civil immunity, right? Judicial immunity, prosecutorial immunity, absolute immunity. They all are only civil liability, immunity from civil liability, because you don't sue them for the work that they do, because they're only doing what their master, the state, told them to do. You sue the state, you sue the master. He's the one responsible for the actions of his agent, right? But the problem is that how do you get in to sue the master? Because you guys are all bringing 1983 suits against everybody that's violating your rights. I know that, right? But why aren't they working? Well, they aren't working because you have to understand that the doctrine of duties and rights now, where does a right come from? Well, a right comes from someone else's duty to act, okay? So where there is no duty, there cannot be a right. So the law, the Constitution, creates an obligation, creates a duty. So, for instance, if the obligation is that no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury, that's not telling you that you have the right to an indictment by grand jury. That's telling someone else the fact that they must have an indictment by a grand jury before holding someone over, which is why that creates an obligation, right? It's not a right, it's an obligation. The Fifth Amendment creates what's called deprivation provisions. So when you have the deprivation provisions, what happens is that it doesn't say that you have the right to an indictment by a grand jury, right? It doesn't say, like on different ones, it doesn't say that you have the right to your property, right? It doesn't say that you have the right to be compensated for your property. What it says is that if there is a deprivation that occurs, there is a prohibitory element that comes with it. So, for instance, that no property shall be taken for public use without just compensation. That doesn't say that you have the right to have property. That doesn't say that you have the right to be compensated. What it says is that the government can take your property, but it has a prohibitory element attached to it. The deprivation does. And the prohibitory element is, they must pay you just compensation for it. Now, the same thing can be said with the Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury. Right? It doesn't say that you have the right to a grand jury. It doesn't say that you can't be held for an offense. What it says is that government can hold you, but in order for that deprivation to be valid, there's a prohibitory element that comes with it. And that prohibitory element is that there must be an indictment by a grand jury. Failure to have it means that the government has acted unlawfully. They've exceeded the power authority statutorily conferred upon it, and in their act of deprivation. So the thing about it is that you do not sue. You do not sue the agent because he's only doing what the master told him to do. But you can't put the state of Washington into jail. You can't hold the state of Washington criminally liable, which is why there is a criminal attachment to it. The criminal attachment would be that there was a crime committed by the agent. So when an agent of government deprives you of a right guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States, violates Title 18.242, commits a crime, then he must be held criminally liable for that crime. And once he's held criminally liable, now your right has been violated because your right derives from someone else's duty to act. You must show that they had a duty to act. They failed to fulfill that duty. And once you show that, then that gives rise to the injunctive relief. Now you have relief that can be sought through the prohibitory element that was breached. If the judge was responsible for ensuring that there was an indictment by a grand jury before holding you over for that offense, then when he failed to have an indictment by a grand jury, he has now breached the prohibitory element of ensuring that there was one present. Now your right has been violated, and as a result of your right being violated, it was violated because someone broke the law. So you got to hold the agent criminally liable, and then you have right to injunctive relief civilly. Then you can sue the agent's master. But when the state of Washington or the state of Oklahoma, when they fail to hold their agents criminally liable for the crimes they commit, then that means that you guys never have the right to seek injunctive relief because there's no rights that have ever been violated. You can't claim that your rights have been violated until you show someone else had a duty and they breached that duty, and you do that through a criminal enforcement statute, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to free up this obstruction for all of you so that you can seek the injunctive relief that you need for the breach of statutory obligation that has been committed by the agent. But we do that by holding them criminally liable. That's why I'm seeking criminal indictments on behalf of all of you for the crimes being committed against you by these agents of government. So yeah, you can sue them, right? You can sue them, but there's a step that's being missed, because none of these agents are being held criminally liable for the crimes that they're committing against you. And in doing so, there's no proof of the breach of statutory obligation. You know that they did, I know that they did, but until they're held criminally liable, there's no proof of it. Therefore, there's no right to injunctive relief. And that's what the courts will say. You know, there's no conflict, right? There's no issue. Because until you hold the agent liable for the agent's crimes and breach of statutory obligation, then you don't have a right that exists. Rights always derive from those duty to act. So you can sue, and I hope to be able to clear this up with very soon, because if the system will accept the criminality and turn from their criminality, then that means that the obstruction will be cleared up, that you guys will then be able to seek your injunctive relief. You guys will be able to be made whole again from the crimes that are being committed against you. Okay? So that's what we're working on.
All right.
TANAWAH, can you hear? TANAWAH, can you hear us?
Yeah, I just lost the podcast. I don't know what's up.
How did you lose the podcast? We're on this damn channel.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. I don't know what because we are all on YouTube and everything else. Fine. I'll send him another link. See what the hell's going on. But that was
send him another link. See what happens.
FOFA, right? FOFO. Yeah, he turned it up there. He's like, he turned it off. Like, no, it's not. That was very weird. So I'm gonna send him this anyway. But anyway, Tiff, you were saying the SEC, and we got the Chevron doctrine, that all went through. That all helped with our whole constitutional argument.
Yeah, and I don't think he heard me.
No, I don't either, but everybody else is here is listening. So
if we can get him back on, then we'll get Gunner on soon too, because I think we're gonna have a couple people coming on next week. I have to confirm though.
Yeah. or were www.youtube.com at abolish CPS. That's one of the 6 uses. It's streaming. What's going on here? I don't know. That's just very strange.
Yeah, I don't know what happened because we could hear him.
Whoever's watching us, you guys could hear the podcast just fine, right?
Yeah, I know I could. And I saw him too. Hi, everybody. I see everybody. Hi.
Hey, everybody. Well, that's just a damn bummer. I don't know what happened to TANAWAH. That was weird. It's like a little switch flipped or something. That was very strange.
I don't know. Maybe his phone went black. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to have him on another day.
Maybe it was my clown fell down from the top of the city
Oh,
skyline.
Lord.
Well, I mean, that's when it happened.
Mm-mm-mm.
The clown fell down and all hell broke loose. Man. I don't get it.
That's okay. I hope
sorry.
everybody understood what he was saying. We'll have to get Gunner on next week. Because I think Gunner can explain the Chevron and the SEC. Because apparently I'm not articulating it the correct way, but he can.
Well, you didn't even start to talk about it. I think you got the word out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it's pretty simple with those two things, right? It's like the alphabet doesn't get to reach over the places that they were reaching before. The judges are forced to adjudicate on the constitutional issues and not what the preference or the what's the other word is, the suggestion by the state. They got to rule by the law. They can't. No longer can they say, well, you're in the guidelines of the law, but because the department has suggested you do this, we're going to rule the side of the department. I'm trying to think what they call that from the period. So all this going on. But what is that when they err with the side of the state because they say that state recommendations.
They're biased.
No longer are they supposed to be able to do that. Use the state recommendations as their point to push you off. It's got to be ruled by the law, not someone else's opinion. And then the SEC versus Jarsky, right? Jarsky, is that the one? I mean, that
gives you a right to a jury trial.
Right. So between those two things, those are things that, and that's if you get the like I asked Gunner last night on the Friday night show last night. Like, is it go down like for anything pretty much? So it's pretty much if a judge can penalize you in any way during a court hearing, then yes, that applies to you. Like if you get contempt of court, if you can get any of that stuff, then that applies to you, that you have the right for a jury trial. So pretty much any reason that you go to court, if a judge can find you in contempt, then you can get a jury trial. If the judge can give you a fine and so on, they can give you, especially terminating your parental rights, You know, like those are all things that fall in that suit of that case law that's coming out. And I don't know. Let's say la vie. Let's see what the hell happens. Let's get all this stuff sent off, and let's cross our fingers, dot our I's, and pray to the gods above, and hope that something's going to work and stick and lead the way for a big outpouring of population to come home. You know.
Yeah, and Gunnar was right. We only need one case to side with the parents, and it's a wrap.
Right. It's a wrap because the whole house of cards is going to come down.
Yep.
You know, you're going to see a lot of those people never leaving the lighthouse again. They ain't even going to dare to go out and get in their cars because of the gross atrocities that they've cost everybody and forced upon everybody.
Well, they better get ready because I believe there's going to be a new administration coming in November. November.
I don't like to talk about who I'm voting for, but hell yeah, I am. Hell freaking yeah, I am.
Well, I'm going to say it. I'm not a Trump fan, but I like his policies, and I voted for Trump. I already voted.
Yeah, how are you all doing this revote? You guys, people are doing this early vote stuff.
Well, of course, Tiffany fucked hers up. I circled in too many circles, right?
Oh, you're hanging chads.
So they were like, oh no, you can't pick multiple people. You can only pick one in each box. So circle all of them and we'll redo it.
No voting card, or did they charge you for it?
They didn't charge me anything.
Oh, well, good. Good thing that they didn't charge you for that. That's their error somehow, some way.
Yeah, so I had to redo it, and it was fine the second time.
Okay.
So, yeah, dumbass me. I should have read the damn thing.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're not always geniuses. Sometimes we have to take the minutes off that we need to keep our brain fresh.
Yeah.
Don't ever be mad about that.
But
we got, you know what, let's see, oh man, I don't know. This is crazy. I'm really bummed out. I was really looking forward to that. I was feeling pumped up about it.
Well, we can get him back on another day.
Yeah, maybe so, maybe not. It's just that would have been a perfect way to lead into the weekend, you know. Seeing if like, this guy would, whatever. So hopefully, TANAWAH, hopefully you're hearing us, and hopefully you're trying to get back. But I've been doing this long enough to know when is when. Does anybody out there have any questions for us that you want to ask?
Yeah, and let's read some of the comments.
Yeah. Yes, man.
I wish Debbie could tell us what's going on, but she says she's not. The judge suggested that she not say anything.
Look at that kitty's taking over the world up there. Kitty, get down. Can't be on a skyscraper. It's like Godzilla's in the house. Whoa. Like a little flying gargoyle just whipping around up there. So that's a whole catwalk right here. It goes all the way. See this right here too? Like that goes right there. It's really a catwalk. Ha ha ha. That goes around and it comes around up here. Then it goes out into another room out there, up through the ceilings. It's wild. It's good stuff. So if you guys were wondering where these animals are disappearing to, like that one that you see up there, that's really what's going on. And hey, we apologize about whatever happened with the TANAWAH thing. Hopefully he's coming back. Really do want to see him come back and get some learning on with us, but we'll stay tuned for a few more minutes and see if he rolls back through. But if he doesn't, of course, we have the 8:30 CPS Victims Hunting Justice show tonight, because it's Friday and we do that show Friday.
Are you sure it's Friday?
Yes, it is Friday. I'm gonna need to get a calendar now and put it out in front of me for every day You know, and that's the thing too, is I have a damn calendar. You know, like I have a freaking calendar and I have everything marked in yesterday is no this, that, and this Friday. You know, like everything is marked as if yesterday was Friday. I don't know what the hell happened if I was in the I jumped the what do they call that? Those people that you jumped the timeline or something. I went into a different dimension. You know, like maybe I was in the wrong spot. I don't know. Maybe I skipped lanes in my frequency. I don't know. Something happened though, because I was damn well convinced, sure that it was freaking Thursday. I mean Friday.
That's okay.
Well, that's okay, sure, but it's awful dangerous too. I mean, they live 2 minutes from
So I was talking to my daughter earlier, and she's going to
Yeah.
come on for 15 minutes on Sunday
Oh, good.
because she had me rolling today when she was like, Mom, we didn't tell you for a whole week because we knew your ass would go to jail.
Right.
So
Oh
she's
man.
coming on for about 15 or 20 minutes on Sunday, just so that,
Okay.
because I really think sometimes people do not believe that I really am this way in real life. So she's like, oh no, I gotta come on. So she's coming on Sunday.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, Tiffany and Debbie and I are.
What does it say?
This is. Debbie says she just can't say a lot. Tiffany said. Casey. Carrie said. Tiffany, Debbie, and I are meeting tonight after the next show. If you want to join us. Are you kidding me? This lady turns into a pumpkin at 8 o'clock.
I'll turn into a pumpkin, but I
No,
gotta go to
no, Grace,
bed.
no.
No, you don't understand. The 2-year-old gets up at between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every morning, 7 days a week.
Wow. You need to put some candy in a dish or something and put it out inside in the room so they don't bother you, and just let them roar in the morning time and give you some sleep. You're just getting dragged out through the ringer here, waiting at those hours.
But I would like to talk to you guys. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. If you do it on Facebook, Debbie's on my Facebook. If you want to do a messenger call, I can do it tomorrow.
That's going to be free, right? You're charging for that?
No, I don't charge.
Oh, okay. I just want to make. I know that there's a lot of misconceptions about what's going on around here, and like we are one of the places that do not ask directly for fundage to get information that we're not even privy to the information. We look all this information up ourselves. We find this stuff, and it's no different than what you guys can find out there. All this information is out there. It's online. It's ready, but it's how willing are you to go through magazine after magazine after magazine to find that little tiny article that may or may not help 10,000 people in their cases. Really, that's what it boils down to. Like, how committed are you to it, and like, do you want it to be that way? Because if you don't, then it's real easy. Just see you later, bye. But we all need to be on the same team. We all need to be working for the same cause, and that is to. Oh shoot! It's in the background. Can't see it, but it says they're saying make parenting great again. Just like Trump says, make America great again. We say make parenting great again. I came up with that last year. I just kind of kept going. I made the MAGA hats, the Make America Great Again hats. Well, I made one, and it went to the river. So, she's gone. But did you ever see the Trump fight tees I did?
No.
Check this out. You see those?
Oh, wow. Those are nice.
Yeah, they're very nice. It says you missed on it. Oh, it says fight. That's what it was. I made these right the same night that he got shot that first time. And then on the back, I wish it had a better picture on the back. because it has a picture of the two guards, that were with him and everything. I put the two guards on there, and it's really a cool T-shirt. And then these are those hats I was just telling you about right here, the Make America Great Again hats. They make parenting great again. And then, of course, I have the Keep Your Kids Property of Mom and Dad, stay away from these CPS shirts. And there's all kinds of good stuff like that in the stores. So if you guys are interested in anything, just click on one of the links. And if you don't see it, then you can ask, and maybe I can make it. If you guys have your own causes and stuff that you need things designed for, or for your children, you guys want T-shirts made for that stuff, we can do that stuff for you. And then Tiffany and I were also talking today about possibly, not possibly, I think we're going to try to push to get our first instructional seminar up for December, pre-Christmas. So we're getting things done. I know it seems like it's a slow and arduous pushing, but it's not. We really are getting things done, and they are all coming together quite nicely. That's right, Carrie Leeper. Pack it up. I love it. I love that that's catching on to some people, the pack it up thing. Like, it's not that difficult to come up with one, a saying, a unity saying, Let's see. That would work okay with me. Time is good for you. Oh, this is your guys' little secret conversation.
It's not a secret conversation. It's on live.
Oh, you know what? Well, never mind about that. Did you hear about this caseworker? Hello, Chris. Did you hear about that caseworker that got stabbed in Illinois?
Yes, I did.
What's your thoughts on that?
Do you really want me to say what my thoughts are?
Let her rip, Tiff. Let her rip.
If you're coming in somebody's home, listen, 9 o'clock is good, Debbie. If you're coming in somebody's home to remove their children, you get whatever you deserve because you have a right to protect your family.
Yep, you certainly do. Yes, you do.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest here. Because stabbing is very personal, so you can't tell me that person didn't warn them or didn't say, get the hell out of my house. Because by the castle laws in the state of Maine, all you have to do is warn the person and let them know, look, this is getting to be ready to be real, and it's going to be go time, and you can have this one opportunity to bounce. And if you don't bounce, well, FAFO,
You're shit out of luck. Suck it up, Buttercup. You came in that house and you said you were taking those kids. And sometimes people just get what they deserve.
Correct. Because that's the other thing that we spoke about too. You don't know how much this person was harassing the police or whomever, or how much the CPS worker was harassing the family, pushing their little antics on them and everything else. You don't know this stuff, but the fact of the matter is this: you go into somebody's house, take their kids, you better be damn well prepared for the opposite of getting handed tea and crumpets. Like that's going to be, you should know that. Your education should have taught you that. Like this, there ain't no tea and crumpet time when they come to take them children's.
Nope.
Debbie, we could do the visuals for your grandson tonight and in the morning with Tiffany. All right. They threaten us constantly. At last, that parent warned first and followed through. Oh, at least. Okay, cool. That's the truth, Carrie. That's how the story played out. You looked into it. Let's see here.
And you should have taken out hazard pay and hazard life insurance because you knew what you were doing was wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. You can say hi?
Yeah, man.
Say hi,
Whoa.
dear.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
His face is getting better.
Yeah, you look good, man.
Be careful. Turn it off. Beautiful teeth.
Beautiful little boy. Beautiful boy. Keep your hands off of him, CPS. Dang.
Yeah, they're ready for bed.
All right. Well, they're ready for bed. No one's asking us many questions. TANAWAH took off on us. What do you say, Tiff?
We
So
can
real
end it
Friday.
in Debbie and Karen. Y'all can call me on Messenger tomorrow, and we can talk.
All right. Well, then I guess it's made and so. Be prepared for CPS victims. Hunt to Justice tonight, 8:45. I'm going to still keep it running at the same time so I can have a little break here and regroup myself. That was a real stressful 2 hours for a failure, so that really sucks.
That's all right. We'll be back on Sunday.
Yeah, Tiff, if you're listening, thank you for attempting to hook up with us, and we'll be in touch. Try to do this again. Let me think. Make sure you guys watch out because CPS, it's the weekend for real. They love to show up at your house here in the next couple hours. Make sure that you don't get in the courts, to make sure that you get to sit around and fester on this. So, go through the motions a couple of times, with nobody around or whatever. Talk it through in your head. Tell yourself what you would do if CPS came to that door. Don't be surprised by them. Don't let their surprise be your failure or your fault. Know that they're coming. Prepare for them coming. And put that shit away so that way you are all set and not freaking out when they come. Because they are, they're coming. So, all right, everybody.
Family here is no longer
I'm just picking up off
sad journey that was done on purpose.
If I don't know
The
where
words
you
I
are,
say here is the truth. Let's just pray it never happens to you. You knock on the door, you freeze in peril. You look around and there's nothing available. Panic, you
I'll call
scream,
you.
you run in circles.
all right,
Knock
Tiff,
on the door,
you're out.
you look
All
outside,
right,
the
you
cars
all
on the
need to
road, the
drive.
police on the
You can't
yard
push it.
waiting in limbo. Your life is
See ya.
changing so fast, looking out the window. In just a moment and things will turn black. Prepare for the next part, it's real sad. They say hello sir, we need your daughter. I tell them no. They say you wanna give her to us now. I tell them no way, go away, never come back. They answer with force and pin you down. They search all the rooms and look around. They find your baby girl. They tell me we got her. Now your family is torn apart, bleeding your innocence from the start. Nobody listens, nobody cares. All you're left with is empty stairs. The house is empty, no love to be felt. They grabbed your baby, it's a feeling you never felt. You fight so hard to have her return. All they do is torture you, are feeling like burn. You do what they say, answer the question. They just keep telling you that you need lessons. You're not worthy of being a father. We don't want you to see your daughter. We don't know what you have done, but we'll say you're guilty. This has begun. We're not taking your heart, your soul. You'll be alone now as you grow old. You are on the way to die. No one will be there to cry. All by yourself, you can't do a thing. No one wants you around. No one believes you did nothing wrong. You gave your best fight. There was nothing you could do. I'll always remember the lonely December. You took my heart out for nothing. There was no reason for what was done. No one listened, not a one. As I lay dying on this bed, my visions are you running through my head. I'm sorry for nothing, I didn't do enough. I thought about you always, I didn't do enough. One day I'll be with you again, living in a world that you are in. Maybe that time I'll do it right, I'll be able to say goodnight. But for now, this life is over, there will be no more pain. I won't miss you in shame, I don't have to play this game. The unfair life that I was living, it's no memory, hope you can be forgiven. I had it all once, they took it all away. So good night, sweet princess, pleasant dreams.